Greetings everyone, I'm happy to present. When you hear the term artificial intelligence, do you think it's spooky or it's something that we should embrace? Anyone? Are you ready to? Yes. Okay, right. So I'm sorry to tell you that artificial intelligence is here and it's already controlling your life. I'm kidding, you're in control. Right, so this project is for recommender systems and I'm going to introduce myself now. My name is Kelvin Carrington Tichana. Here is my introduction. I'm a self-taught machine learning engineer and I have a startup which is different from this that deals with AI as well. Right. So the problem, right. So as the world is digitizing, right, a lot of companies are digitizing. There's a lot of data, big data as they call it, that's available that needs analysis, right? And a human brain can analyze it, but it takes forever, sometimes years, millions of years if possible, for some of the large data sets that are available. So there is a need to actually analyze these data using algorithms, and these algorithms must do that without you supervising them, right? So this is where machine learning comes in. Machine learning is just basically like training a child to learn things by just observation. So here we are providing a lot of data to an algorithm to learn from it and then infer patterns that could help predict, recommend, classify for object detection. So you can see there's a lot of versatility involved here. This project is machine learning recommender systems. So it's strictly recommender systems. I'm sure you've all fallen into the rabbit hole when you're using YouTube or something like that. Then you get to see, oh well, something that I was just researching about now is popping up more often. How do they do that? And I'm sure some of you have been concerned about security issues. Are they spying on me? Or when you're on YouTube, you're researching something, or on Google search, you search something, then it predicts the next word. How do they know that? So that's what this project is trying to do, recommender systems. So here we were using Python programming, so there was a lot of coding involved here. There's something called TensorFlow recommender systems that we were using as a platform built by Google that analyzes data in form of tensors. You can think of tensors as vectors, but higher dimensional vectors if you've done physics, right? So we also designed a UI, user interface, so that a general person can be able to, just like Google search, when you're using Google search, you search something, there's a prediction. So we are trying to build something for demonstration purposes that does similar activities, right? Okay. So analysis, these are recommender systems, are algorithms that recommend content unique to a user on the internet or on an application or on an app store or whatever it is you're trying to do with data. It recommends the content unique to that user based on preferences. And these preferences are basically the data that's collected about you by the algorithm, not by people, right? And this data includes your ID, right? What do you like? What have you previously watched? If it's a movie site, how do you rate action movies? How do you rate rom-coms, right? So basically a profile is built about you based on what you do on the site or on the application, right? And with that information, we can now recommend the next thing you could like the next time you visit the application, right? So here the term recommender system is fulfilled. All right, so we talked about that. So machine learning, as I said, is basically training an algorithm to mimic how humans learn from data. So the outcome, so we built a backend that's an algorithm for a movie recommender system. Basically, it collects data from the data that we used. We used a TensorFlow dataset, that is the data about the movies and the data about the users, right? And with that, we build a backend which serves as the server if you are building an application or a web app, right? And there's also a web app being designed. So these are the outcomes so far of the web app. So these are the landing pages, and then welcome to the movie recommender system. So there's a movie recommender system that we built, and there's also a music recommender system that we're going to be testing starting today, right? So this recommender system is going to have multiple recommender systems for different kind of data sets. We have imagery, we have linear data like your words. How do you predict maybe human behavior based on how they speak, right? Okay. So where is this applicable, right? So companies now, as I said, are digitizing, right? And as they are digitizing, it means that they are dealing with a lot of data, and sometimes to make informed decisions about their business for profitability or anything that sustains their business, it's not enough for just a human being to be able to do all of that. That's a lot of work. So recommender systems could be applicable. They could be in their system to recommend when they're supposed to sell something or buy something. They could recommend when they can employ someone, or they could recommend when to pay someone to maintain their behavior, right? And also you could have your own curators here. They're trying to plan a trip. You could also use a recommender system in your platform, right? That recommends to your users the next trip that they could go to based on the experience they have and the ratings they give to the current trip. So this is something that's usable in your application. Right, so this is the back-end server. So I want to see if I can play it. There must be a video here. All right, there it is. So this is so highly technical. Unfortunately, you might not be able to understand this video. It just shows the training. So I'm not going to play it for that reason. It shows the training of a movie recommender system model. So a model is basically an AI that's being trained from the data that is provided with, and from that data it creates patterns and then predicts based on those patterns. So this is what this model training is doing. Then after the training there's the inference, which is using what it is trained to do to predict the next behavior, right? So what is next? So we have two things here. We have a web application where a general person who does not care about the technicalities of AI need to use. All right, I'm sorry, let me just finish up. So we need to link the two. So we are building an API that will help with the communication between the two. Right, so that's where we are at now. Thank you.
You've had my attention from start to finish. But speak to me like a 2-year-old. What if I were, as a 2-year-old, what is your project about?
Okay, so the project is about recommending what you would like based on what you currently like.
So if I was an investor,
yes,
I wanted to give you money now.
Right.
What are you selling to me?
I'm selling to you convenience, right? Instead of you going through a lot of hustle to find out what you could do next, provided now there's a lot of options. Think of it as you're now trying to get food and there's a lot of food that you like there. Picking the right food is going to be difficult. So maybe based on your previous experience, I could suggest to you with this recommender, maybe you could like this better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused.
All right,
is it an app or it's a system, a server? What exactly is it?
So it's a system.
System.
It's a system.
That I purchase and input into my system.
Yes, exactly.
I'm also a bit confused.
All right.
Maybe we are not engineering biased. So
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's making more sense.
All right.
So are you going to build an API where normal users can use, or is just the web app that people can go on to?
So for now, for testing purposes, we are building an API that would link the server, which is the back end, the training, the machine learning model, with the web app. But for your purposes, if you're a business, what we're selling to you is basically the back end and an API that links to whatever application that you're using.